Seamus, how's it been?
Great, Tony. How about you?
You know what? I can't complain. What did you get to, or what did you get up to this week?
Still busy with school, programs winding down for me now, at least the business portion. So a lot of stuff coming due all at the end. So busy with that. But this week I got to, dog sit for my uncle. He got a new puppy, 5 months old.
What
So
kind?
that's really fun. I'm gonna be totally honest, I forgot the breed is pretty uncommon. They needed a kind of specific hypoallergenic dog. But yeah, I totally forgot the name. But he's a little fluff ball and
Oh.
yeah, so cute.
Like no more than what, 2-3 pounds, or are we looking at like a 5-pound pup right now?
Probably like 5 pounds, yeah.
That's pretty cute. That's cute.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think this week, for those of you that live here in Calgary, we just had some crazy winds. So really just moving things around from my front to just make sure that they don't blow over. And then work has been pretty crazy busy as well. We're in the transition of some good things. So yeah.
Nice. Exciting
Cool.
stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Fun fact, last episode you had mentioned that you would pair that soup that we had. Actually, no, last week's. You would pair that with something called soda bread.
Yes.
Can you again explain what is a soda bread?
It's heavily featured in Ireland whenever I go, sort of like a whole grainish type bread. Yeah,
Dense,
that's where I've
fluffy.
had it.
Is it like what's the
More
consistency?
dense.
More
More
dense?
dense. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, fun fact, I was listening to a podcast, and if you add raisins to soda bread, they actually call it spotted dick.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's who who named it that?
I think it originated from Great Britain, from what I've seen. Funny because initially when I was listening to the podcast, they said it came from Ireland. And then as I was researching it, because I thought that it would be pretty funny to mention it in today's episode, that it actually did come from Great Britain and not from Ireland. So a little bit of a downer, but it's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. They still eat it in Ireland, so that's what counts for me. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Add raisins, you got a spotted dick. That's what it is.
Amazing. That's funny.
So for today's episode, we are doing a partnership with a local mother, a local entrepreneur. She creates hummus as well as a lot of other dips. Her name is Nada Shufi, and the brand that her hummus actually comes from is Mother May I. If you're interested, we're going to link all of our socials just down below. So you'll be able to follow her. And we actually have something really exciting coming up with Nada and a partnership with her for you guys to be able to try some of her stuff too. So it's pretty wicked. So yeah, that's who is in partnership with today's episode. Moose, what is today's episode going to be all about?
Today's episode is going to be pretty fun. I'm excited about this one. We're calling this segment Can It Soup?
Okay.
So using things that may or may not go in soup, mostly may not go in soup, and seeing if we can create something that's any good, essentially.
Yeah. Exactly. So when Nada gave us a crap ton of hummus, which again, thank you, Nada, for that. I was like, man, could we put this into a soup? Never have I seen hummus in any type of soup. So what I did is a bit of research online, and there was actually a website called eatingwell.ca, which even just hearing the title, I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is going to be good or not. But eatingwell.ca, where they actually included hummus into a soup. So what we have is something that I created. I shouldn't say created. I took from the website, and it's actually just called chicken and hummus soup. I don't know what it's gonna be like or what it's gonna taste like. Believe it or not, I whipped up the recipe and I drove it to Seamus's place just like a second ago. Never tasted it. didn't taste test it as I was making it. So you guys are literally going to see us eat it for the first time on today's episode. So I guess with that being said, let's dig in.
Tony, real quick, when you were cooking this thing, what did you think? Did you think it's gonna turn out? Do you think it's gonna taste good from when you were cooking the smells, the ingredients you're throwing in? You're like, this thing's gonna go together.
No. To be honest, when I started, I was like, okay, chicken, great base as always. I guess to go through the ingredients, there's chicken in it. There's a bunch of different types of peppers, so sweet peppers. We have some onions in there. We have some grains, so there's quinoa and brown rice. Obviously, there's a bit of roasted chicken, but also in particular, it's the breast, so it's not like the thighs, which I find breasts to be kind of a hit and miss. So as I was making, and red pepper flakes. So as I was making this, I was like, is it something that I would commonly order? Maybe not. But again, I love soup. So who knows? We'll see. We'll see. Okay,
Yes,
time to dig
this
in.
is testing the love of soup for sure.
Yes, very true. Very true.
Yeah. Okay, cheers.
Okay. Mm. Okay, let me take another bite. Let's just make sure we're getting the full round.
I was gonna say I need to get some of the other veggies in there.
So the recipe itself called for frozen sweet peppers and onion. I literally went to 3 different grocery stores and couldn't find it. So then I had this kind of like brilliant idea. I'm like, well, why don't I just chop it up, put it in the freezer, and then cook it? And I was like, F that. Like, what's the purpose of that? I'm just defrosting it afterwards. So, yeah. Okay. First couple of bites. What did you think?
I'm gonna be honest. Like before I ate it, I smelled it, and it smelled a bit like a fajita. So that threw me for a bit of a loop. But definitely get the red pepper flakes. There's a bit of heat, which I enjoy. But I'm not totally sold on the hummus chicken combo.
I think, yeah, I'm gonna be honest. It's kind of like mush a little bit, like the broth part. Maybe I needed to add more liquid. But I did exactly what the recipe called for. And this is, I guess, how do you think we can make this better? Like if you were to take this recipe and you're like, let's add something to it, what would you add to potentially actually like it a little bit more?
Good question. I
feel the
don't know.
fajita thing though, and I think it's the peppers, right? So
I actually don't mind the peppers in there. I think almost if you made it without the chicken, it would be better. Maybe that's just me. I'm not a fan of the hummus and the chicken. But yeah, you're right. It maybe the reason is because the chicken and the hummus sort of share a flavor at this point.
Yeah.
With just for being, I guess cooked in there for so long.
Yeah.
So maybe if you made the chicken sort of, instead of all the red chili flakes, you could make the chicken sort of spiced and drop it in at the end, cooked. Okay. So there's like a little bit of like a unique flavor for the chicken. And then it's like more complemented by the hummus broth rather than just them kind of cooking together and then becoming sort of one thing.
Yeah, it's almost static. It's almost like I obviously can taste the hummus, but at the same token, the chicken doesn't do anything. So you are right. I don't think it's necessary in this. I think that would be awesome if we were able to spice up the chicken a little bit, add some heat to it, cook, render the soup, get even some of the pepper like taste into the actual broth a little bit more. I think that would have made it better. To be honest, after like maybe 5 bites, I'm like, nah, this is actually not that bad.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's growing on me a little bit, right? And also, you add a little bit of hot sauce to anything, and it just makes it better too. So,
Yeah.
so my question is, can hummus be in a soup, in your
Canned
opinion?
soup.
Can it soup?
Um, I'm leaning towards no.
I would have to agree with you. I think it's better as a dip. No knock on that. I would. This is the star of the show. Like, if you want
Oh,
to just have
100%.
hummus, have this, right?
Yes.
But
And
if
the beet hummus as well. Sorry to interrupt, but the beet hummus is spectacular. I've never had it before, but so good.
Yeah, it's what I love about Mother May I is she takes um flavors that you don't typically see in your traditional hummuses that you see in grocery stores. It's a little bit out of the box, and I just love it. It's good stuff for sure. So, okay, I can it soup? No,
No.
no chance, no
No.
chance at
No.
all.
No.
Yeah. Well, let's get into some coops that you guys had been asking us this past week. I'm just gonna pull them up here. Someone had mentioned to me, so I guess the first coop is: would you consider a ramen pack crushed up and sprinkled with like the seasoning a soup?
Mm. I think this question is harder than it seems at the surface. My gut reaction is no, but the powder I think is dried soup already, so they've already gone through like the stock process, dehydrated it, and then made it the powder. I think there's an argument to be made that it is a soup, but I just can't. I just can't. I can't say yes because you can't. There's no broth.
No broth. Yeah. No broth, not a soup. But delicious though. Like, I
Yeah. Oh yeah.
remember back in the day as a child, I would see friends bring that in, and my mom actually was like, "You can't eat that. It's bad for you." A couple years later, I'm like, "Man, this is delicious." But
Yeah.
I don't think it's a soup for sure.
Yeah. I
Um,
have.
do you have some questions too?
Yeah. I'll take that. So someone's asking here in the podcast that they listen to, um, the podcasters actually sing their intro, and they're wondering if we were going to sing ours, how would it go?
Um, so okay, I guess you're asking me this, and eventually you're gonna have to answer this too. So I'll start off. Um, you guys probably know ABBA, the classic song Super Troopers. I think that's even how this whole thing kind of came about, is having that song as our pump up music for episodes. And then lo and behold, you can't put music up on YouTube without being, copywritten issues and all that jazz. So in your mind, you should think that Super Troopers is kind of the theme song. Um, Nope, not singing it. Not happening here.
No,
um,
no,
that
I have.
or I like that song where it's like shoop shoop whoop, dude, and then I just like throw in the word soup into that, and I'm like, okay, that was for me. All
No,
right, James, your turn.
I'm yeah, you won't catch me singing on here, very likely. I listen to some podcasts too, and I've never heard anybody sing their intros, so I don't know where this is coming from. Um, we've had an offer to record, but we declined because that is not in our skill set.
No, not in the
Like
contract.
soup,
Skill
I
set,
do not
no,
like singing. So
no, not gonna happen. Not gonna
no,
happen.
no.
The next group that we have is, did you save any of that minestrone for dinner? Did anyone else in your household taste it?
No, I didn't save any. No.
No, likewise here. You saw
Yeah,
it on the video. I ate it all from beginning to end. So
yeah,
no dice
yeah.
on that one. No dice.
Same. Yeah, it was done. I was supposed to save some for Bernie. She was actually here and was like, "Oh, save me some," and then just was munching the whole episode. I couldn't stop, and
Didn't happen. Didn't
yeah,
happen.
whoops, my bad.
So good. Good.
All right, last question here. Um, Tony, I want you to give me a rough estimate of, or I guess give the listeners a rough estimate of how many soups you've had in your life.
I saw that come in and I was like, This is tough. Um, if I had to guess, I'm probably in. I'm just gonna go out and say I'm probably over 10K on soups. I have to be. I have to be because you think about
Wow.
it. Like I was literally sitting down one day and I was thinking, has there been a week that has ever passed by where I've not had a soup in like in lunch or at dinner or whatever it may be? And there's never been a week that I can think of. Every week I have some sort of type of soup.
Okay.
Yeah. How about you?
So when I read this question, I thought maybe they were asking how many different types of soup we
Oh,
had, but we're going for total. So I'm just gonna say that I don't think the math checks out on 10K soups. That's a lot.
come on.
Okay, well, I'll just do some quick math here. Like I'm 25 years old and 365 days in a year. That's 9,125 days. So, so
Okay.
I would have to have more, more soups than days I've been alive, which I'm not at. But I would say I'm probably in the 1 to 2,000 range, 2,000 plus.
This is so you know what? It's funny because we were playing this game a couple days ago where we had to guess like quantities, years, all this stuff. And we actually were a team for that game. I don't remember what it is. If I find out, I'll post it somewhere. But my guess were like terrible. They're so bad. However, if you just did the math, you've been around for 25. I know for a fact I'm older than you. You know, 1,000 could
You're
possibly be
going. You're sticking with 10,000. Wow,
so
that's
I'm gonna go like probably like 3 to 5,000 now.
yeah, okay. Yeah.
Let's say
That's
around
yeah, I
that.
think that's reasonable. I'm thinking like for me, yeah, like once a week works out to about 1,500 soups. And I probably like when I was younger, I didn't eat as many soups versus, now I eat soups all the time. So
Well,
maybe, but yeah, we'll never find out. We'll never know. Maybe I'll start tracking
I'm
now,
here.
and then when we'll give updates periodically.
Let's do that. Just like a soup count of the week kind of thing. We'll
Yeah.
tie it in. That's freaking awesome. Let's actually answer that question that you thought it was. How many different types? How many different
Okay.
types of soups do you think you've had?
Um, Man, I'd say 35 to 40 different types of soup, probably.
Yeah, I think I'd probably be in the same realm. And I think the reason for it is you go get a soup and you kind of stick with what you know when you go to certain places. And then of course the different varieties, right? Like you can get a French onion soup from any restaurant. They have their own variation. So if it's just
Mhm.
type, I'm probably in the same realm too.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think there's enough variety within the category that you don't have to try like 100 different soups. But I mean, I got to add one today on this
Yeah.
soup, so
Yeah.
41 maybe, I guess.
Yeah. Again, if you guys are interested in knowing the recipe, I'm going to tag it below in this video, but I'll also put it up on our Instagram. It's actually not that bad. Now that I'm tasting it again, would I have it again? Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe if I was like, shoot, I'm hungry, I'll make it. It is a quick fix. It literally is 15 minutes to make this thing. And when I saw the ingredient list, I was like, typically for spices, you're just going to add red chili flakes. Like that's it. So I can't complain.
Not bad. Yeah, maybe have it with some pita bread or naan bread. You can make a little meal. It'd be good. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, you know what? Thank you guys so much for listening. Seamus and I absolutely love doing this. We're finding it to be, as it was before, just a hobby for us to be able to talk about soups, to make soups. We look forward to having you guys in our next episode. Stay safe, stay soupy. We love soup. We obviously love you. And have a good rest of the week. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye now.
Take care, guys.